So you guys may notice something's a little bit different with this episode.
We're in a yacht in Croatia, hosted by Enes, and it rents for $150,000 a week.
And we got it for completely free. They were so gracious to let us stay on this yacht. It is an absolutely incredible experience. Very cool intro, by the way. We're gonna be walking all the way up to the top deck to be shooting a podcast with Enes himself. It's gonna be an amazing episode. I mean, we've never done anything like this before on the Iced Coffee Hour.
So make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. It would mean a lot to us. And now let's go see Enes.
But before we go into that, if you're a business owner, I'm sure you know that managing a bunch of different systems, spreadsheets, and softwares can be a massive headache. So wouldn't it make sense to have one software instead of 10 that covers all of the back end of your business? Well, that software exists, and it's called NetSuite by Oracle, our sponsor.
NetSuite helps with CRM, resource planning, and more. They bring everything your business needs in real time, all in one place. A software like NetSuite provides the visibility and control you need to make better decisions faster. Plus, over 36,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite and stopped wasting time on things like manual entries and sifting through scattered data. They also help manage your finances, e-commerce, HR, inventory, and more.
And for the first time ever, you can defer payments for a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months.
That means no payments, no interest for half a year. So whether you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur, don't miss out on this deal. Head over to netsuite.com/iced to take advantage of the special financing offer today.
Again, that's netsuite.com/iced, as in ICED.
Stay efficient and take your business to the next level with NetSuite. Again, netsuite.com/ICED. And now with that said,
let's get to the podcast.
So good. Thank you so much for having us here. It has been probably definitely the most luxurious experience I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh, by far.
I love it.
Yeah, our
Thank
first
you.
European vacation, first yacht, first a lot of things.
First
really.
Lot of
podcast
firsts.
abroad.
Yeah.
Pretty
This
cool
is
too.
fantastic. Well, I'm really glad to see you guys here. I'm really glad that you guys took this opportunity. I figured you guys would enjoy it, but I was kind of 50-50. I was like, maybe they would find it a little too much to travel to Croatia, get on a yacht, and then stay on board for 7 days, but I'm really happy to see you guys here.
Easiest sell forever. Like,
Jack said
I got
yes
this text
immediately.
from you to Graham and I, and it was like, would you guys like to join us on this experience? I mean, I was just like, yes, without question. So, and here we go. We got some, what is this, a cappuccino or is it
No, you and I are
espresso?
having espressos, and then I think Graham's having iced coffee.
Iced coffee.
On brand.
And the
Oh,
cheese.
That's right. That's right.
This is the attention to detail that they have. They know you like 6 to 7 of these per day. By the way, that's absolutely
Too much. We got to be
insane
cutting
that
it
you
down
do
a
that.
little bit.
When you're in Europe, you gotta have espressos, and life's good around here. It's like I was telling Jack the other day. It's like simple things in life, a simple way of living in Europe is like what draws me. It's like you don't need to have a crazy coffee with just milk and frothing. It's a good old espresso, amazing views. Simple way of living is what I enjoy in Europe.
Yeah, people seem way more relaxed here. I've noticed that. Maybe it's just like the touristy locations that we're going to, but
You
people
don't have
seem
as high of
stressed.
income tax, maybe. I'm just kidding. Like,
that's gotta be
it's
it,
like
yeah.
0% income tax.
it's like U.S.
Yeah.
United States is an incredible country, but it's always go, go, go. You always have to make money, figure out your next paycheck. Lifestyle here is a little bit more laid back. And even like all the way down to talking to the captain yesterday, I'm sure you kind of gotten that feeling a little
Yes.
bit. It's just kind of like we were trying to ask him on his finances, and he was like, yeah, just I want to make sure everybody enjoys it. And he's like, we make money. Like, that was his answer. So I enjoyed that about Europe. And I think it's a nice balance that myself and our team gets to experience this, but at the same time we go back to US and we know that competitive edge. It kind of gives us a well-rounded perspective no matter where we go.
So I gotta know, Enes, how do you get access to a $120,000 a week yacht in Croatia for completely free?
Well, a lot of factors play into that. For them, they want to market their asset. They want to showcase how cool Croatia is, how hospitable they are with their crew. And my pitch to them was, give us the yacht for a week. I know it's a bit of an investment on your end, but that will allow us to do really engaging content. That will allow us to showcase what it's like to really be on board and like truly get a vacation experience. And at the same time, because this yacht comes with 14 cabins, we got plenty of space to invite friends. Invite friends that can add up to our video while they create their own content. And once we started formulating it from that perspective, you guys got involved, Shelby got involved, and here we are. But on a fundamental basis, it's all about creating win-win situations. It's all about understanding the people on the other side and bridging the gap between what you can do, what they like, and finding a nice harmonious mix in the center.
And so do you apply this to every single one of your house tours?
One by one, case by case. Every single asset we shoot has a different term, has a different catch, hook, timeline. It's all about, there are yachts that we tour, all they want is their yacht to be seen. They don't care about the charter experience, they're trying to sell it. For them, as long as we come and tour it, we put a suit on, we make a nice polished walkthrough video, that's good enough for them. Here, it's all about the experience. Here is what you guys are experiencing right now. The fact that you wake up in the morning, you go for a swim, you get on a jet board later in the afternoon, you have amazing meals, and like you guys seen, every day they're like, what time you want to have lunch? What time you want to have dinner? So it's a very curated experience. So just touring this yacht wouldn't do justice to the whole experience. That's why it was a better call to say, let's stay on it and let's give everybody 100% access.
Got it.
It's interesting. You were explaining to me yesterday that you've positioned yourself fantastically. I mean, you basically have all of these super massive luxury companies reaching out to you on a consistent basis, asking, will you come experience this lovely vacation here in Croatia on a yacht so you can make content, market for the company, and it's a win-win on both ends. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You've positioned yourself incredibly.
Thank you. And it's like, we created this business model that is super cool, in my opinion, gives access to people without putting the burden on them. Like, imagine people that are in their houses right now watching content. Most people will never have access to the level that we do. And I love the fact that we can produce a video that's cinematic, high quality, extensive in detail, and allowing people to experience it for absolutely free.
So for those that aren't familiar, could you discuss how you got started doing all of this? Where did the idea come from?
Long story short, I used to live in Texas. I used to develop properties. So I built a love for real estate over a long period of time. I've invested in a lot of properties. Then I always wanted to move to LA. I moved to LA, and then that's where Mikey comes in. I knew Mikey back then from Texas, and he was always into photography, videography. And when I became agent in LA, I was like, well, it would be cool to make some content, as you know, it's super competitive. To be able to differentiate yourself as a real estate agent in Los Angeles is so difficult. So I called Mike, I was like, why don't you come live with me? On this side, we'll make some content, we'll start a YouTube channel together. It was really based on me building a real estate career, or like a name, so to speak. And as we started making the videos, both of us saw the potential and kind of the light in regards to how big this can be. And both of us were keen to improve whatever we do at the time. So we were like, look, let's try to get better houses. Let's try to spend a couple more hours. Let's try to make better videos in general. And one thing led to another, and the competitive spirit, ambitious spirit, just built it up one step over another. And I think we were very, I don't want to say careful, but we were very articulate about how we used each opportunity to just barely open the next door. So we always aim for a little bit more than we can choose, so to speak. And if we got a $4 million house, we always knew, okay, now we got to get to an $8 million house, $10 million house. And one thing led to another, team expanded, our goals grew. I've totally ditched my real estate career because I was so keen on this. And quite frankly, I enjoyed it more than real estate too. Sales side of it. And here we are. Like, it all happened in the last 4 years, give or take. And I look back and I'm like, wow, the 4 years were just so dense. We shot 250 plus homes. We've traveled so many different countries. But in a weird way, it also feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, I gotta know, how do you guys take it to the next level from here? Because I look at your recent content and it's like touring the most expensive penthouse to ever exist. And you're touring stuff like that, or touring the most expensive RV, touring the most expensive yacht. It's like, where do you take it to the next level? You can't get more expensive than the most expensive.
That's a great question. And this challenges us as a team all the time, right? YouTube really benefits the title most, biggest, whatever that is. But to me, narrative is so important. To me, how you tell the story is really when you can differentiate yourself. I mean, I use this weird analogy, but like, look at David Dobrik. He built this massive following, and he built the people around him to such high level with a camera, and sometimes without even a shotgun mic. It's all about the story. It's all about how you put together a video that engages with people. So obviously we've gotten access to incredible properties, and we will going forward. But now we're focusing on making less videos and really going a little bit more in depth. You know, talking with the owner, trying to understand the story. A lot of times we end up asking for a few day access just because we're like, look, as a team, we want to come. We want to walk the grounds. We want to see how this place feels. And I think we're at a point now, and the type of assets we feature calls for that, really. And I think this is where we're going to start making videos where we can look back and say, you know what, I don't think anybody is ever going to produce a video like this. I don't think anybody is going to get access to Michael Jordan's home, spend 2 days there, write voiceovers, get footage from NBA, and put together a video that's like a legacy video. That's one of the reasons why I, to some aspects, differentiate separate our business from YouTube a little bit and not be in the mercy of like, did we get 20 million views this month? You know, I want that to not matter as much. I want to be able to look at our team and say, you know what? How do we create the best video possible that still makes financial sense? Let's go do that. Let's be proud of our work, and then we'll figure out the rest.
So walk us through the Michael Jordan deal.
It took us little more than a year and a half to get access to that property. Initially, when we reached out, they didn't want to do it. It's owned by Michael Jordan, and they're always worried about how the property is showcased. But long story short, email after email, email after email, finally they gave us an opportunity to talk. And after a long process of approvals and permits and like access, we got to the property, I believe, like 6 or 7 months ago. We shot the video. We didn't tell anyone. We took about 2 months to edit it, and we released it, and it's one of our best videos ever. And personally, it was unreal, the fact that we got a chance to tour Michael Jordan's properties.
How do you get the contact to begin with on that?
I worked my way through the agent. It was initially kind of a tough one for us to get access, but then Compass was the brokerage for the listing. And I've talked to the PR team of Compass. I was like, you guys know us. Compass kind of backed me up. They were like, look, you really have to consider this guy and his team. Like, they're really good, they're really professional, they'll work with your terms. After that, they really considered us seriously. And it was basically, they were like, look, you'll come and shoot the video, you'll do the video. Once it's complete, you need to send us a draft. This person needs to approve, this person needs to approve, this person needs to approve. And at the end, Michael Jordan himself needs to watch it. Once we go through everybody and everybody's happy, then we'll give you the green light. And they were like, at some point, somebody's like, no, this is not good. Like, we need to throw this video away. You need to be okay with that. And I was just like, dude, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Yes, I was like, I will take all the risk. Don't worry about it. I want to come and do it. We went there as a team. Over 2 days, we shot it. And in fact, I can't remember, but I think we were going to Europe right before it too. We shot that on like a couple hours of sleep. Like, we grinded that video. But now looking back, it was all worth it.
Did they ask for any edits?
Believe it or not, 1 or 2 changes. They were really happy with it.
So you're saying Michael Jordan knows who you are?
Yes.
He watched your video.
Yeah.
How's that feel? Is that cool?
Feels incredible. I was telling this to Mikey. While we were over there, I was just so focused on the task. I was just kind of like, nail this video, you know, do your best job possible. Then we shot the video. We were just so exhausted. And then once cameras were off, I was just walking the grounds. I was like, oh my God, like, how did I ended up here? It's just like, I'm walking around Michael Jordan's home, just like seeing the grounds and just realizing that, like, in a small way, we've played part in history. Like, this is one of the most internationally recognized individuals on the planet. And I grew up watching Michael Jordan. You know, I used to be a basketball player. I used to play in middle school and high school. And I was just like, it sometimes scares me because I genuinely am so casual about this stuff. Like, in my mind, it is all supposed to work out this way. Like, when we get access to these individuals, when I was with Tommy, I got nervous a little bit, but I was like, this is so normal. Like,
Tommy being Tommy Hilfiger.
Tommy being Tommy Hilfiger. I was like, this is so
Call him
normal.
Tommy at this point.
Yeah, people are not going to know. Yeah,
tomboy there.
Oh, Tommy. Yeah,
Literally in the
deal.
video, I asked him, I was like, would you like me to call you Mr. Hilfiger or Tommy? He was like, Tommy. So in some capacity, I kind of forget that this is reality, and it feels so normal to me. But then I get these moments where I'm like, dude, this is Michael Jordan. You just spent 48 hours around this property. We got access to everything. And it's mind-blowing. So it's like these like weird highs and weird like these calm norms that I go through. But I kind of like it. I like a good challenge. I like a nice environment change, and I like a little pressure in regards to, like, I'm a foreigner.
Yeah.
I still can improve the way I talk. I still can learn more about the things we talk about. So I like that constant challenge, and it's kind of rewarding to see that evolution. Like, go look at our videos a year ago. 3 or 4 years ago, and now they're so different.
What surprised you the most about Michael Jordan?
I think the property not selling, quite frankly. Even to some aspect, I consider buying it because I think it's at a great price point.
How much was
It's
it?
about $14 million.
$14 million.
14 million. It's a massive 40,000 square foot compound.
So why do you think it hasn't sold? Do you think there's a price where it might make sense?
It's just a unique offering.
Okay.
It's not necessarily in the heart of Chicago. It's a little bit out. It's a really big property, and to some aspects, it needs a remodel. But then you kind of kill the character of the fact that Michael Jordan lived there. The furniture inside of the house is worth that much alone. But the catch is you can never take out the furniture and sell it. It either needs to stay in the home or it needs to be like basically burned out. Like you cannot market the furniture, you cannot sell it. So there's like weird stipulations around the property.
Why is that?
I think it's just because the IP, Nike being involved.
Ah, I see.
They don't want someone to leverage that. You cannot Airbnb the house. You cannot have any commercial interest within. And
So you can't sell Michael Jordan's bed.
basically.
That makes sense.
So all of that coming together just makes it a little bit of an interesting offering where it may not be for everyone. But like, I'm just shocked that a celebrity didn't buy it yet, and just so they can say I own Michael Jordan's home.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, we just teleported to our studio to discuss something incredibly important in today's day and age, and that would be data privacy.
Hey, my name is Jack Selby.
Hi, why are you putting my name out there?
Well, your name and all your information is online already, so I could just pretend to be you now. Oh, you know what's also cool? I could open up credit cards in your name. I could open up bank accounts even. It's gonna be fun.
Sorry to break it to you, Graham, but I have Delete Me. See, people like Graham are exactly why you need to take precautionary measures to remove all your data online and to be safe.
Delete Me helps you protect your personal data and keep it private. They specialize in removing your personal information from data broker websites so that you get a peace of mind knowing that your sensitive financial details aren't floating around all over the internet.
Trust me, guys, there are businesses that operate solely off of the commerce of private information. You really don't want to be on the other end of that spectrum, and you can't fathom how bad it is until you're actually experiencing a data breach like that. So check out Delete Me at joindeleteme.com/ICH20 to get 20% off all consumer plans.
Or you could just use the link in the description with the promo code ICH20. Again, that's 20% off. And now with that said, let's get back to the podcast.
It was interesting. I did a review of 50 Cent's house, and I believe it was originally listed more than $10 million.
The one in Connecticut, yeah?
Yeah, no
Crazy
buyers.
house.
Yeah, no buy. And then I think it sold for like $3 million.
4 million.
It was something insane. It was
You know who's-
50,000 square feet, 40,000 square feet. It was insane. Yeah.
You know who previously owned the house?
Oh.
Mike Tyson. So Mike Tyson sold
no
it
way.
privately to 50 Cent at his like pinnacle. 50 Cent had his whole crew living there with him, like the whole
Yeah.
G Unit era.
Yeah.
Like they were like literally the people, like
did
the
MTV Cribs
celebrity,
there,
MTV
yeah.
Cribs and all that. And we were just at the cusp of being a big channel. This is like that is one of those opportunities. I'm like, I wish I'm a big 50 Cent fan.
Yeah.
So 50 Cent, if you're watching this video, like I would love to tour whatever house you have.
Yeah.
I'm just such a big 50 Cent fan. It's one of those homes I'm like, I wish we got that. I think they're remodeling it right now.
Yeah, my understanding it needed a lot of work. But like at $3.5 million, imagine living in 50 Cent's house. That'd be so
I feel like
cool.
if I saw that now, I would have probably bought it.
Yeah.
Just for the heck of it. I have a question for you guys. You guys are both in the YouTube space for such a long time. Graham, you played a significant contribution for us to even start a YouTube channel to begin with, yet along our success. When you see us featuring these kind of assets, Michael Jordan, most expensive this, that, how does it make you feel? Or like, what do you think about it all?
I'm super excited about it. I'm happy, and I get to now watch as like a viewer, and I get to see like an inside look into these houses through you guys. So for me, it's just it's incredible to see. It's cool to see the come up because I feel like so many of us all like started around the same time, like have our journey together from the beginning to now. I think is really neat.
Jack, what do you think?
I think it's really cool. I love watching your content because not only do I get to see obviously like incredible homes and everything like that, but I also get to like feel like I'm also there because I know you and Mikey very well now. So it's nice that I feel like, oh, I get to walk through the most expensive penthouse with my two buddies. Like, that's kind of cool. I like how personal you guys are on the camera as well. Like, you're very like friendly and, you know, back and forth.
And you get to learn a lot about style.
Yeah, I get to learn a lot
Enes
about
was
style.
showing you
yeah, we've
about
been having a
your
lot of
shirt size,
discussions
yeah.
about style. Enes has immaculate style. Like, everything that he wears just blows me away. So
I appreciate
that
it.
was a nice talking point last night. I'm sure we'll discuss it at this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at this point, the aspects of our videos as a whole has gone really difficult to improve, right? Like, I feel like we're maximizing our DSLR cameras. At some point, we probably need to up our production gear to a new set of cameras. I don't know what that looks like. I know Mikey is cooking a few ideas already in his mind. But then I look at it as like, I'm always a believer in constant evolution, constant improvement. And to me, I think self-awareness is such an interesting but a rewarding thing. So to me, as we evolve the content, as we gotten better at what we do, whether it's our videographers, shooters, editors, myself, how I present myself, and how I carry myself. And one of the aspects of that is that as we increase the quality, as we showcase even better assets, I feel like I need to match up to them as well. And there's a fine line between matching that level of luxury, wearing a $5,000 suit, wearing an expensive watch, but then I still want to retain that I am your friend. I really don't want you to be intimidated. I want you to be able to watch this video, you know, at your house, in your living room, comfortable. And I think that's one of the things that differentiate us. No matter how exclusive this content gets, I still want people to know that it's Enes and Mikey. It's two friends. There's no need to be intimidated. Please tag along with us, feel comfortable, watch our videos. And it's one of those things that I feel very happy that like we broke, which is this need of being pretentious or like having to live up to this like high imagery because we represent luxury assets.
One thing that I was so surprised to learn, I learned it a little bit ago about you and your business, is the amount of like amazing byproducts, unknown byproducts that your business has. So like, obviously you go get to spend a couple days with Tommy Hilfiger, right? You go, I'm not gonna name drop any other people because it's not known publicly,
Yeah.
but your phone book is insane.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, you get to spend time with billionaires all of the time. You get access, like the highest level of access without actually having the wealth, the money that all of the other people need in order to access these things. When did you realize that this was going to be a possibility with the channel?
So this is a very interesting topic, and I don't think a lot of people know this, but the difference with us is, let's say you're a billionaire or a celebrity and we're going to tour your house. Normally when you meet someone, let's go through the trajectory. You would meet them, go for lunch, dinner, coffee, you get introduced to them. Maybe you hang out with them a couple of times, and then maybe you get the chance to hang out with them intimately at their own house, have a one-on-one moment with them. Well, think about my content, right? They're like, hey, Enes and the team are coming, they're gonna shoot your house. I'm already in the bedrooms of these people. The fourth wall is already broken, has to be. These people have to trust me, trust our team, and they're kind of letting us into their intimate space. And in a weird way, I realized that immediately breaks the first few steps, and we immediately get to know each other very, very closely. Yeah. They have to. Within a few hours on the property, I already have their phone number. I already have their email because we just set up a shoot. Where we're going now, and I think one of the most valuable IPs we carry is the fact that not only on a weekly basis, we get to see some of the most exclusive assets on the planet when it comes to design, finishes, level of service. We also intimately get to interact with the people that are the consumers of these services and assets. So that's giving us a wide range of understanding of the luxury world that I quite frankly challenge that even most luxury concierge services and maybe even the people at this level that operate may not know, because the level of frequency we get to do. I have billionaire friends, and even they're like, Enes, we don't even get to see quarter of the assets you get to see, and like we're actually the people who have the money to buy them, and our friends have them, but the level of frequency you get to see them is just insane.
It's interesting you call them assets and not properties.
It's assets because it's yachts, RVs, motorhomes,
Yeah.
luxury travel, anything. And to me, they're assets. And I find that world very interesting. I try to really spend the time to understand it from these people, from these people's perspective. And I think that's also giving us a unique edge when it comes to talking about
So
them.
what do you think you've learned from all of these billionaires?
I think the fundamental thing that I learned is the fact that the way these individuals see these assets and what they see, what kind of utility they see out of them, are totally different than public assumption and totally different than what we assume. When we look at it, we go, oh, a $40 million yacht, like why you need it if you only use it for 5-6 weeks? Well, what you don't know is the 6 weeks they use, the meetings, the interactions they have, the guests they invite, they end up doing $500 worth of business with them. It's so worth it for them to have a $40 million yacht.
So they end up doing $500 with
$500?
$500? What? Oh my
I got a little
gosh.
excited
Leave that
there.
in.
They
Leave
lose
that in,
so much
Andrew. That's
money.
funny.
There's a few times I've like wanted
Yeah.
to correct Enes, but that one I was like, I have to.
500. Yeah, I know. I heard it too. I'm like,
Did I
yeah.
make a bad mistake? I kind of like,
No, I'm guessing.
You say trajectory instead of trajectory.
Yeah, you said trajectory as well.
Twice,
Yeah. Wait, so does that mean $500 million worth of business?
yeah, like the people who have these like $40 million yachts, even though they end up spending only 6 weeks on their yacht, when the people that they invite, the people they do business with, they might end up doing $500 million worth of business with them because they're such powerful individuals.
So it's not basically just like a display of wealth to be like, see, look at you guys. I have this, $1 million yacht or whatever, $50 million yacht. It's not like trying to live the life of luxury, but a lot of the times it actually has roots in the business.
Absolutely. Or like we have a friend of ours who has a lot of cars. And when I was with him like a year ago, he showcased me side of his garage with like all these cars. He goes, Enes, I've never driven any one of these cars. I'm like, then why you have them? He goes, this is all for my friends when they come in town. As soon as any of our business colleagues or like anyone that we hang out with comes in town, they get one of these cars. It's just like the way they operate their business, and it's part of their like, I guess, imagery and how they carry themselves.
So one thing I asked Ryan Serhant when we had him on our podcast, because he's associated with a ton of billionaires, he's got like a crazy phone book, I'm sure, of all of them. What makes them different than the average person? Do they have like a certain, I don't know, style or trait or different mannerisms than the average person that you see on the street? Like what differentiates them?
It's really case by case because they can be so different from each other. But some of the commonalities I've seen, they're very fearless. Like to them, making a $500 million decision is just the same as making a $100,000 decision. They're just so fearless. A lot of them are very focused. Like when they work, when they think about something, like they zone out. They're just in there. They're shockingly calm. Like sometimes I feel like I'm a little too hectic because we just have so much going on and we have such a dynamic company and like so many things have to fall into places for things to just work out. And then I look at them, like I'm in the room and I'm like, even though I'm there, like I'm thinking about a bunch of stuff. They're across from me, they're just so relaxed, as if they don't have thousands of employees and they don't have all this stuff going on for them. So it always shocks me how calm most of these individuals are. And less is more. They're just really focused onto their business. They're just like, they have a great team and they only work on few things and they do them really well. And that's what really makes them successful.
Do they seem happier than the average person?
50-50. Some of them are kind of so caught up in their lifestyle and who they are. I don't know if they're super happy. I don't think they're miserable either.
Sure.
Some of them are very happy. Some of them figured out who they are and what really makes them happy, even though they have this wealth and they have this image as byproduct of their success. They kind of know within that system of what makes them happy and they just go do that. And the ones that are really happy are the ones that can detach that high level persona and just be human and go like, I enjoy playing basketball. I enjoy doing these kind of vacations and I enjoy being able to hang out with my friends and get drunk every night and like don't really care even the fact that I'm a billionaire, and they just go do that. Those are the ones that I see are very happy, and I think it's deeply rooted into their like self-awareness. The fact that they're very self-aware is what allows them to be very happy.
I feel like if I picture a billionaire, it's somebody who's very like stone cold and focused, like you mentioned. Like I couldn't imagine them like relaxing and like letting loose and cracking jokes and like, I guess being like jovial in certain ways. Or have you noticed that they can be funny and stuff like that? Or
Funny?
like
No sense of humor, Jack.
For me, it just feels so detached. It's hard to see, to imagine just what it would be like or what character traits they would have.
I know what you mean, and there's definitely consistency throughout their personality and how they enjoy their time versus how they work. But I think the thing that I see with them is like when they do something, they want to do it really well and they want to really enjoy that moment. So if they're having a dinner with you, like they're having a dinner with you. Their phones are off. They don't really seem to care about like messaging 20 other people during the dinner. Or when they're working, they're working. When they're talking to their designer, like they're in there. So I try to take that quality and then apply it to my life as well. Whatever I'm doing, I want to do really good, but I also don't want to overdo it in a sense that like, while I'm here on the yacht, I want to do things really well. But I really don't want to do that extra work. Like if we're going to do social media, I want to do 3 things and I want to do them really well. And that's it. If we're going to do a walkthrough, I want to do it really well and that's it. Like we have a Turkish channel where we also do give or take the same thing. This is a big trip and there are a lot of variables. We definitely have the time to spin off a Turkish video. I just didn't feel like we could give the attention and the quality where I would be very stoked with the product. I was like, no worries, let's not do a Turkish video. It is totally fine. I would rather do it really well than just do it and kind of wing it. You know, now we have to get all the cabins reset back again in order to match to the quality that I feel like would represent us. There's no need. Let everybody enjoy it. It's okay. We'll do it on the next one, but we'll do it really well. That's kind of like what I see about them. They just want to really do the things and own the moment.
What really interested me was that the fact that the things that impress billionaires are nothing like the things that you would think would impress them. Like you were saying that they're not impressed by the most expensive watch. You were explaining that you were considering buying a Richard Mille, which are, you know, infamously known as like basically the most expensive watch that you can buy.
250K,
Yeah,
150K, like base.
Yeah, can they be in the millions too?
Oh yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I mean,
Drake owns one that's like $2-3 million.
There's one with a samurai that I love.
Samurai.
It's like a samurai figure inside of the watch. It's like $2.5 million bucks right now. It's insane how
I
it's
don't understand the appeal.
I don't understand it either.
Okay, but you were actually considering buying one,
Yes.
right? And this was because you thought that it would impress the right people or the people that you need to impress to help out your business, right?
Well, like, I think there's an important balance. Well, at the level that we're operating, I think people look at us, meaning our team, as the people not only creating content, but also individuals who live this lifestyle to a certain extent and be able to relate and showcase it in a way that matches the level of the asset, right? So they don't look at us as just like, oh, these guys know how to hold a camera and get really pretty shots. They also look at us as, well, Enes hangs out with these billionaires. He can relate to these individuals. He can curate the video in a way that YouTube audience can enjoy, but if a billionaire watches it, they also get their value out of it too. So it's a really fine balance, right? It to a decent percentage affects how we shoot the videos and how we narrate them. But to me, if I'm gonna showcase these assets, I have to live this life to some aspect. That doesn't mean I have to own 20 cars and everything I wear has to be fancy, but if I'm gonna wear a suit, maybe it needs to match the level of the asset. So to some degree, I position myself and what I do on my weekly, calendar, who I hang out with or what kind of dinners I go, what I educate myself on to this aspect of the business. And that also comes with appeal as well. So I have a friend of mine who is a billionaire, and I told him like, I'm considering buying a Richard Mille. You know, it would kind of match our aesthetic and like it would be a good addition to our outlook, right? I see myself as a representation of the company, so I want to make sure we maximize that as well. And he said something very interesting. He's like, Enes, the people that will recognize the fact that you wear a Richard Mille and be impressed by it are kind of impressed by you already, meaning like more of the younger generation, the celebrities, rappers, like more the people that wear Richard Mille. He goes, I think you should look at us buying a watch that the sophisticated and really like that 1% audience may look at it and go, you know what, that's not the most expensive watch, but that's a very curated watch. Only true watch enthusiasts would know. And maybe consider buying that watch. I was like, that's a really interesting perspective. And or I can get a custom suit made and really spend the money on the fabric, and even a designer or a billionaire may look and go, this guy's suit is like very tasteful. It's not the most show-offy or the loudest suit, but look at the fabric he has chosen. Look at the fabric he got used for his suit, or like look at his designer and how curated the piece looks on him. So I started paying attention to these kind of things as part of our natural evolution.
It's interesting because the price difference between a watch like that, which is obviously still extremely expensive. How much is that watch?
Probably like $35,000.
$30,000 to $35,000, and a Richard Mille, which you could get for $1, $2, $3 million. That watch is going to impress a billionaire, most billionaires we could say, a lot more, even though it's like obviously a negligible price relative to the price of the other watch that you were potentially considering.
Yeah, because like when you think about it, these individuals, whether they have $10 million, $50 million, or $100 million, it really means nothing to them. And quite frankly, they're not going to be impressed with my wealth. They might be impressed with my knowledge.
Or your taste.
Our taste, our team, our operation, how we carry ourselves, right? So from that perspective, this is not the most expensive watch, but it's a very tasteful and a simple watch. It's to the point.
It speaks their language a little bit more than something that's just expensive for being expensive. I feel like.
Exactly. And it takes a while to understand that language. I'm still learning it as we go, but I started paying a little bit more attention to that kind of aspect of the business as well.
What are some of the things that billionaires enjoy character-wise in other people? Like when you go to them, do you feel pressure to act like extra enthusiastic or like happy and smiley or like supportive? Because I feel like they're always surrounded by people that are probably yes men, but I'm guessing maybe you have to provide a different perspective or experience for them to like enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's a case by case, but they always seem to be intrigued by people's knowledge. So if you're knowledgeable, if you can offer them a perspective that they don't have on something, even if it's something totally unrelated to their business or to their outlook, they seem to really enjoy that. So a lot of times I find myself talking about design, houses, assets around the world, yachts, with billionaires, just because they don't have the amount of experience we have seeing them. So they always end up asking really good questions, or they're intrigued with our business. Like, tell me about your YouTube channel. Tell me about your team. Like, how do you guys gone to this point where like, here you are at my own asset, you know, my $50 million home. They're kind of curious how a YouTube channel got to this point. But again, it's case by case. Sometimes we go and the owner is a little bit wild. They're like, have some drinks, have shots. We're like, hey man, we're trying to stay sober for your video. They're like, no, have fun, enjoy. You know, they just like, right before we shoot, it's like plates of food. We're like, hey, we would like to just keep things simple. Like we want to really focus on the shoot. It can get a little bit carried away sometimes. But again, it's case by case. And I think it gives us a tremendous understanding in regards to people that are behind these assets.
How do you decide at this point what to tour, what not to tour? Like what's worth your time at this point? Like where do you want to spend your energy?
Believe it or not, this is a part that takes a lot of time for us because you get 400 inquiries. We probably eliminate about 300 of them very easily. It's just not at the price point or level, or they don't have like that really unique, interesting factor for us to write it out. And after that, our CEO, Andy, and our operations manager, Victoria, they kind of go through it. They kind of filter it out. Obviously, we want to have a diverse lineup of assets, yachts, experiences, houses, hotels, whatever you name it. And then from there, we look at it case by case. Does it fit into the schedule? Is it something unique? Is this something we haven't done? Like, I'll give you a little hint. One of the videos we're considering is the most expensive rehab in the world. Rehab for celebrities. It will be an interesting video. We've never done anything like this. So we're considering doing that or going to a different country. It all depends case by case. And sometimes we look at a property, we're like, this seems cool. We'll do it. We kind of have the luxury and it kind of keeps it fun, you know?
So do agents at this point just reach out to you and say, hey, I got this new listing coming up?
Yeah, I mean, we just get so many inquiries.
And where do you draw the line, though? There's got to be like a threshold now where it's like...
Well, we politely say we can't do it. We're booked. Yeah. Quite frankly, we are. I mean, between now, we're in May right now, till September, maybe we have like 8 slots available. The rest is kind of spoken for between some of the properties. They're loosely agreed, right? Like, hey, we'll come over there in August. We may not have the exact date, but we know in August we're going to shoot this home or shoot this property, whatever it is. So like between now and like September, maybe 8, maybe 10 new properties we can consider. Rest is kind of spoken for. So I just go for like what kind of value we can give to the audience, and I try to keep things interesting. If anything, what I would ask you guys is like, you guys have seen the evolution of our content. What do you guys think what do you guys think in regards to the videos we're choosing or like the ideas we're pursuing?
I think they're good, but like you kind of mentioned earlier, you can't get more expensive than the most expensive penthouse.
Yeah.
So I think that shifting the whole, I guess, the criteria of how you would pick a video would probably be a good idea to a little bit more of a story, a little bit more of a narration. I like this because, or the Tommy Hilfiger one as well, because there's a whole story. It's not just because it's expensive, but it's like the whole back end of it. I mean, the Tommy Hilfiger one, you got to show you guys on jet skis and stuff like that, and there was kind of like, I would say like a beginning, middle, and end. I like that. I think it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think history is a big factor that I think should be considered, like very historical properties or things with.
They just
like you said,
thumbnail so bad.
They what?
They just thumbnail so bad.
Yeah,
it's always it's always a
sure.
struggle.
Celebrity properties would be pretty good because then
I
you can
agree
also
with
use their
that.
face in the thumbnail, which I
agree
feel
with
like would be
that.
kind of
Or
interesting.
have them talking about their home with you. I think would be interesting.
Yeah.
No, definitely celebrities is an angle that we haven't really explored. It's also like between sequencing the production team, scheduling, and keeping a nice healthy balance has been so difficult. It's probably the most difficult aspect of our business. So I almost feel guilty of like, like if I work with a celebrity, as you guys know, it's going to be a little bit of a last minute.
Right.
It may come with like surprises, or we may schedule the whole thing relying on the fact that we're going to get a 1 full day access of this asset, and they may easily come back to us and be like, well, you have 3 hours.
Yeah.
Which we can make it work, but it ends up compromising the content, and that's where it's like, it kind of kills me. Like,
Right, but if it is better and it performs better and it takes you to where you want to go, then it's worth it to make that risk.
well, that's that fine line of like, leave your passion aside, make good business decisions. And that's the fine line that I personally sometimes struggle. I know Mikey struggles too, because like we're so passionate about making it as good as we can. It bums us out as a team knowing that like, hey, we shot the video, like it's gonna be good, but like we all know it could have been so much better.
And I will also say, I think that your current audience would also be fine if you were to maybe, you know how like 2 Chainz had the most expensivest was like his thing? You could do stuff like that too, where you're not even touring something like a yacht or a house or something like that, but you're doing an experience that not a lot of people, like they know about, but they don't get to experience because
Going
it's
into
too
space,
expensive.
I think would be an incredible one.
That would be amazing.
That would be incredible. I mean, I have so many wild ideas. As a team, we have so many wild ideas. And that's actually a good point. So like one of the things I feel like we're trying to expand our brand is using social media a little bit more, because there are so many cool things that we get invited to. Just because it doesn't make it 20-minute long YouTube content, it doesn't mean they're not cool or interesting. That's why we really try to use social media, Instagram, stories to be like, for example, a RV company reached out. They make these like really, really cool $200,000 RVs. Super techy, extremely well built. They're just not big enough for me to make a YouTube video. But they would be so cool if you go there, get like 10, 12 stories, one post, and kind of give people a little bit of an intimate access, that iPhone 101 experience of like seeing it. That's why we've been way more active on our social media, on our Instagram. We're testing it out. Seems like people like it. I don't know if they're seeing it that way, but I'm trying to spread the variety of things we cover, whether it's a restaurant maybe, but I'm just trying to take it off from YouTube because I just want our YouTube channels to be very exclusive.
A restaurant would be kind of cool. Even the Met Gala would be cool.
That'd be
like
cool.
if you got invited to that and you get to tour what it's actually like to set it
behind the
up and to
scenes,
like the behind the scenes, and then just walking through, maybe you go like, I don't know, to the water fountain and you see like Dwayne The Rock like right next to you or something. That would be pretty cool.
That would be
I'd like
pretty
that
cool
as well.
too. I mean, like, I think analyzing businesses is something I always found very interesting. Like, for example, touring like a big stadium during a soccer game, and then like analyzing how that business operates, what it takes to maintain a stadium, little things like that, or like touring an airport and with intricacies and having the manager show us around and like how many planes they land. I think we have the capability to do it. Right now we have a good thing going on, and it's kind of like we don't want to disturb our organization too much, but as we get more comfortable, as we build the name to a bigger point where we don't have to rely on YouTube and YouTube viewership so much. And when I say YouTube viewership, I'm not saying that we don't want views, but maybe we're not so sensitive to how many views we got.
Right.
And then that way we can really pursue these wild ideas and do things that are even more unique, honestly.
Touring a SpaceX rocket
Oh yeah,
would
for
be
sure.
insane. I mean, that would be so cool.
Like I say it on every podcast, like I'm hoping that it helps me manifest it, but I really want to tour the White House with the president.
Yeah.
Like I really want to
You were
do
telling
it.
me you think you have a
Yeah.
good chance to tour the White House.
I think so.
I do think I have a good chance, and I think it's like it fits what this country represents so much. United States, it's like all about opportunities. Anything is possible. I really believe in that motto because it's like I lived it. Like I came here when I was 17 years old, couldn't speak a word of English. I don't have a single friend, and I don't come from a wealthy family either. And like I just grinded my way out. I learned the language. I really gave my focus and attention to the culture. I really wanted to understand this country and its essence. And I really appreciate that. I really enjoyed it. I'm really proud to call myself an American. And over the years, just being able to achieve one thing to another, that leading to another opportunity. And here I am, having access to some of the most successful individuals, some of the most expensive assets in the country. I genuinely believe anything is possible. As long as you're honest, you work hard, and you mean what you say, life will reward you. And I really think at some point it's going to lead us to the White House. I can't wait for that moment. And quite frankly, just like I said earlier, somehow it feels very normal to me. Believe it or not, I have no hesitation that we're going to do it. Like I just know that it's going to happen. And it's not in any way being cocky. It's just like, I just know. One day, before you know, 1 or 2 emails, 1 or 2 phone calls, and boom, we're in Washington.
Yeah.
I did some research into your team, and I got some questions that you're never asked. The juicy and, I'm not going to say explicit,
Okay.
but very interesting details that you've never shared publicly before.
I'm intrigued.
Okay? So I heard that you used to have a car flipping hustle. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Did that work out all right for you?
I used to have a friend in Texas who was a mechanic, and he used to work on my cars, and then he would see me working on houses, doing other stuff. He kind of realized that I was a bit of an entrepreneur. He's like, hey man, I always wanted to flip cars. I was like, what is flipping cars? He's like, I'll go buy cars off of Craigslist or like for sale by owners, do a few repairs, get the things right, and sell it for a little profit. He's like, would you be interested in funding me? And at that point, he already fixed some of my cars, and I just really liked this guy. So I was basically funding him. He would either fix the cars in his backyard or in my backyard. And we flipped about like 10, 15 cars. Which
Really?
Was it
really
profitable?
insane. We made money on every single one of
Are
them.
you serious?
Why didn't you
Yes.
continue doing it?
I just like, it gets a little messy. You have cars around for no reason. Another funny story. So I have you guys saw my production van.
Yeah.
So my dealer friend gave me an access to an online auction. And there was this big auction in Houston that they were selling enterprise van fleet. All these vans with like issues, they were selling it. And I always wanted to buy one of these Ford Transit vans. And I got introduced to this dealer through my friend who was flipping the cars. So I go to Houston, there are like 7 of these vans. And I'm kind of like, I can buy either one of the 5s. Like they're all good to me, low mileage. So the first one comes, it's not the ideal one I want to buy, but it stopped at like $15,000 or something. I'm like, this is so cheap. Like this guy's going to buy it for $15,000. I raised my hand, they're like, sold. I was like, okay, well at least I secured a van. Things are good. Second one comes, stalls at a ridiculous price. I'm looking around, I'm like, I cannot believe this guy's gonna buy this 1-year-old van for like 12 grand. Raise my hand, sold. Third one comes, the third or fourth one is the one that I really want. Sold. I called a buddy of mine who used to live in Corpus Christi. I'm like, you have to come to Houston ASAP. He goes, what'd you do? Dude, I bought 3 vans. I have 3 vans. I only need 1. Even at that, I made so much money in just selling the vans. I just got them fixed up. At some point, I had 3 high roof Ford Transit vans. And I ended up keeping the one that I
Why
really
were they
wanted.
so cheap? What happened?
Dealership auctions. It's the move. You got to go
Really?
there if you want to buy some affordable cars.
Okay, so what do you think about car flipping as a side hustle in general for the average viewer? Do you think it's viable? Like,
It is
what did
definitely
you-
viable. And I think there are so many how-to-do videos on YouTube now. You can fix so many of these things on your own with few tools and just like, just even detailing a car, fixing the paint job a little bit. Like there are so many of these like mobile detailers. You can get a bumper painted for like $200. So there are so many ways to elevate a car. It's kind of a fun hustle. It's like, it's right up there with like couch flipping and like refurbishing furniture and all that.
You've had a lot of side hustles though. You're kind of a grindy mentality person from what I've figured out.
What else you got?
You also, I heard that you're a realtor at the
Yeah.
same time driving Uber.
Yes. When I moved to LA, you got to understand my whole life I worked. Ever since I've been 14, I've been making my own money. Windsurfing, investing, I've never stopped. Ever since I'm 14 years old, I've been making money. So I moved to LA and I basically followed Graham's real estate course. He was just saying like, he was preaching doing rentals, just so you can get your foot off the door and just like meet people and all that. So, but at the beginning, it just takes a minute.
Yeah,
And
it
I didn't
does.
know anyone in LA. Yes, you hold open houses and like you door knock. It's just like, first few months are kind of like slow. And I just couldn't contain myself. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to just go waste money just so I interact with people in LA. And I have an S class. I was like, great, I'll sign up for Uber Lux. I'll drive wealthy people around. It would be a fun way to learn the city. Dude, I was going everywhere with a GPS. I didn't know anything about LA. So at night I were doing Uber Lux, and funny enough, I'd done it for like a month and a half. Maybe I broke even because I would drive for 2 weeks and I would hit a pothole and it would break one of my rims, and I would have to
way.
spend $1,200 buying a new rim. But it was just fun. It gave me a perspective. It gave me a relatable point. It made me understand Uber in general. So it's like, to me, life is all about what you make with what you have. So even that, I'm appreciative. Like I've enjoyed it. I made no money. I never earned any clients from it, but I learned a lot about LA.
Did you get close to getting any clients?
I rented, I think, one property out of it.
Really?
That was about it, though.
How do you bring it up in conversation?
I just feel it out.
Really?
Some people don't want to be bothered, so they would just sit on the back. I'm like, great. You clearly don't want to talk, and I don't want to bother you. Some people would be way more conversational, and they would just want to engage with you. And I would just build up the conversation. And a lot of people are interested why you do Uber Lux. I'm like, I'm not even a driver. This is like a side thing for me. I would just say I'm a real estate agent. This is how I meet clients. And a lot of them actually found that very fascinating.
Yeah.
And that was my 2-month Uber career.
Wow. I'm sure everybody asks, so how is the market?
Yeah, how is the
that's-
market?
yeah,
What do you
everyone
think?
says
is
that, yeah.
Classic. I get that question so
Yeah.
many times. I'm like, we live in a different world now. It's so hard to predict the market.
Yeah.
There are so many variables. You analyze everything, then a war breaks out.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to predict anything?
Yeah.
You just go along.
So I heard you came up with this hack to make all of your house flipping way more profitable than everybody else. What was that hack?
So when I was in Texas building and remodeling homes, you got to understand these are $100,000 to $400,000 homes. So you don't have a lot of wiggle room. You have to kind of copy paste, follow a formula, do what's expected to turn around the property. That really bothered me. I love doing things efficiently, effectively, and I love improving the things that I do. When I was in Texas building, developing, remodeling homes, the price range was anywhere from $100,000 to $400,000. And at that price point, you can only do so much. You're kind of limited to how much you can change the layout of the home and bring, quality finishes. And as I knew how to do the copy paste and the formula that worked, I always looked for ways to improving it. So I was like, great, I want to use better materials. They're expensive. So I have to find a way to get them cheaper. Appliances. Best thing you can do is go Lowe's one day a week to check out if they have dented appliances. A lot of times these dents would be on the sides. Well, if you place the appliance to where it needs to go, you don't see the sides. Doesn't matter. So I would give people a $2,000 stove on a $150,000 home. Every time we would have realtors looking at properties, they're like, how can you put this stove in this house? I was like, don't worry about it. I became friends with all the employees. Appliances, cabinets that are broken on the side. I would get like a 36-inch cabinet. I would have a side damage. Well, if you put it on a corner, you're not going to see the side. Now you have a $600 cabinet that you buy for $50 because it's damaged on the side, and you give it to the homeowner. So I learned the frequency and how Lowe's would get appliances. And basically the day or two after that, they will look at it all. And if there are anything damaged, they would immediately put them up for sale on a lower price point. And they would have dates on the bottom. And depending on how long it sits there, every 2 to 3 weeks, I forgot the frequency, they would get the right to discount the price even more. So I would watch an appliance that's like $4,000 and they would say, now it's discounted to $2,500. And I'm like, that's still too high. I would just wait for the week or that turnaround time and I would show up there the next morning. I'm like,
You want to be the first person to see
exactly.
it at the
Now
next...
I'm offering you $1,500. They'd be like, it's been 3 weeks. Yeah, sure. You'll just scratch it off and give it to me for $1,500. So my obsessiveness to improve every little thing I do gone to that kind of ridiculous level. And like, there are so many hacks. Another thing I can tell people, let's say you're remodeling a house. Go to Lowe's, go set up a commercial account. Project what you're gonna use in the house. Pick the hardwood floors, pick the tile, pick the fixtures, pick everything you're gonna use in this house ahead. If you have, I don't wanna say the vision, but if you have the capability to see a project that far ahead, interior doors, everything. Let's assume that you're gonna order $40,000 worth of finishes. If you order them at once, number one, they will deliver it to you for free, so you don't have to go there one by one, pick up all these materials. You would easily get anywhere from 10 to 20% off. Just like that, by literally not even doing anything and still buying the same material. And you can return them anytime. So I've figured it out every nook and cranny to save money, and now like, that's why not only my homes are very profitable, no one could have competed with me. Almost every single home I flipped broke the neighborhood record.
They still offer that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I haven't been in Lowe's in a while.
I did something similar. Do you remember on the duplex, my washer and dryer that I bought from Lowe's?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got paid to get a brand new washer and dryer.
How did that happen?
I made $50 on this. I'm getting it for free. I bought the floor units, and they were discounted. And
Okay.
then one of the units had a dent on the side, and so
Okay.
they gave it to me at a really low price.
Okay.
But both of them were efficient. So for the state of California, they offer a rebate back.
Okay.
Well, I bought these. I got the rebate back. When everything was said and done, I made $50 buying these things.
I
So
love
I got
America.
paid $50 to go and get a washer dryer. Now that would not have been the case had I not bought the floor unit with one of them being damaged.
Yeah.
But the dent on the side was only noticeable when you look at it from the side. So if you put something, next to it, you don't even see it.
You don't even see
it. It was
it.
so minor that it didn't affect anything, but I got it for free.
You gotta love
I
this
made
country.
money. I made money by doing that. So it's possible.
Yeah,
the right
no,
appliances.
There are so many hacks. Understanding how a house is put together and micro breaking it to points where like you hire a roofing contractor, $30,000, I'll fix the roof for you. Great. What is roofing? You need to demo it. You need to resheet your house, meaning you need to put a brand new plywood. Then you need to actually waterproof it, and then you need to put your finished material. So it's a four-part job. If you individually hire them and you're the one managing it, $30,000 roof job goes down to $15,000. So understanding these little things to maximize the value I can give to people who bought these houses was like my motto of my business. That's what I did, and that's why I no longer want to do it, because I'm too much of a perfectionist to flip homes. I should be building like $30 million homes so I can go like all out, make it perfect, and get that premium. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
You were mentioning to me that there's a billionaire out there, can't say his name, that you consult with on him building his house.
Yes.
And that's a way that you fostered this relationship and you've improved it, is the fact that like you've seen so many hundreds of millions of dollars homes or tens of millions of dollar homes that now billionaires are coming to you to ask what type of appliances and like countertops they should be getting in their house.
I met with a billionaire who's designing a house in New York, and like his folder for inspiration was screenshots from our videos. Like that's what
That's
he showed his
crazy.
architects that are
Yeah.
globally known. They were like, I like this couch, it would be an episode. I like this kitchen, it would be an episode. Screenshots. He's like, I watch every episode. And I'm like, you're a billionaire. You don't have better things to do? Dude, no, we watch it every week with my wife.
Wow.
I'm like,
I wonder if you could go to those billionaires that watch your content and say, if I were to not make videos about house tours, is there anything else that you would like to see? Because chances are, if a billionaire can carve out the time to watch something because they're so excited to watch it, the average person probably
You know
won't.
what? That's a great question.
is.
I should ask that.
Like, what if they just say, like, because I saw like the most expensivest, like 2 Chainz, where he was like trying like the most expensive water that's ever existed or whatever. Something like a luxurious experience that they can afford, but it's just so crazy and foreign that everybody wants to know what it's like.
I feel like 2 Chainz was going for that virality and like almost like that comment engagement. Like, this is crazy that you paid $2,000 for water. He would almost find these like absurdly expensive things. That's a great question, actually. I'll start asking that. That's a great point.
One thing you always say is that there is nobody that exists on this planet that can catch up to you. How are you so far ahead? And why are you so far ahead? What did you do?
So I think it's a combination of a couple of things. Number one, I'm very ambitious and very competitive. I think number two, when I get involved with something, I just don't know how to stop myself. And I just go through everything. Like, I learn every aspect of it. And number three, I always feel like I'm about 10% not as good as I can be. And I always try to constantly chase that. But to me, it's always 10% missing. I'll watch a video, I'm like, I could have done this a little bit better. I think that keeps me going and almost gives me this relentless energy. And nothing makes me more happy than seeing a finished product or a work that I've done that looks really good. That just makes me overlook all the difficulties of it. Like, it was the same thing with houses. It would have gotten, at some point I would get these big projects that are profitable, but I would take on doing a lot of the work myself just because I want to do a really good job and I want to use that as a stepping stone. And I would spend like 16, 18 hours on construction sites just doing the work and like running the guys. And at the end, I would look at the house. I'd be like, okay, I'm happy. I forgot all the painful weeks that led to building this house. So, and I genuinely, and I don't want this to come off as bragging, but I genuinely don't know if someone can push it at a level that I do and maintain decency and like motivation.
So you think you're just that much more competitive than everybody else?
This was like this when I was a windsurfer too. Everything like
You were a professional athlete, which
Yeah,
I guess
like,
like you kind of have to be at this level of
I won 3 world titles. Like the last 2 world titles I won, I didn't win them. Like, there was no competition. Like, we would do 10 rounds, I would win 9 of them. Like, to me, if I won with like a fierce competition, like in my mind, I would have been like, I'm not good enough. Like, I won by destroying my competition. And later on, I lost that competitive edge. I got injured and I've done other stuff, but like, I wasn't happy with it. Like, to me, if I win, it's like, I have to win so far out that people shouldn't mention competition around me, as that's almost maybe too obsessive and like in some capacity toxic.
Yeah.
I just don't know any other way.
We kind of had a little bit of a debate last night versus output, or on output versus effort,
True.
which is kind of interesting.
Go for it.
So my thing has always been to increase the frequency of uploading to maximize what you could do right now, because I feel like, you know, in many ways you have such a unique opportunity right now, and it's up to you to really maximize what you could do with it, even if that means posting a little bit more. You've been talking last night about scaling back.
Yeah. It's a tough one for us because we're like 200 plus videos in now at this point. We've done so many tours. And I think at the beginning there was a huge demand for like these tours. And we kept pushing the boundaries where we set the standards so high for these tours to go viral that I feel like it had a bad side effect on the competition. They're not getting as much views as they used to. But at the same time, same applies to us. Now we really have to make unique videos. Then I look at it internally. We have a team that I would rather have them be happy and creative than just working because things have to get done. And I realized for us to be stimulated, we need to make better videos. So on a personal, almost selfish way, I'd rather do less videos but better videos. I think I would personally get more joy out of it. I know Mikey feels the same way. So on that level, basing our future on that personal decision of our personalities, then we need to look at it and go, well, if we're gonna make less videos, how do we maximize them? We raise the stakes. We bring more influencers. We give more depth to the video. We use the social media heavier than we used to. And while we have the personality, maybe we engage with events, consultations, and other stuff more. So I kind of looked at it as like, okay, if this is what we want to do, how we can make it sustainable. That's my way of looking at it. And I think there's no wrong side of the argument, because I think we can do what you're saying. It will be profitable business. Maybe to some aspect it will be less fulfilling but easier business to run. Now we have so much of the stakes, right? Think about it. You're building the entire business, or you're basing the entire business off of 40 videos. That's so dangerous. If 5 of them goes bad, now you're down to 35. They really have to come through. But I think that's when the confidence and belief in the team comes in. And I have no doubt. Like, we're really good. I really believe that. We really work hard. Everybody on our team cares so much. I think we have a really unique production team that operates as a professional production team, but it's kind of a family. And it's a weird dynamic to have in this kind of media space. But I think we can use that, and we've been using that to our advantage. And I think as long as we make something unique, as long as we make something that are hard for people to replicate, there will always be a market for it. And I just believe in that, and I just commit to it.
I think that's what really distinguishes you guys, is the ability to go 10% more to like basically 99.99% effort on every single video. If you scaled that back and increased the upload frequency, I think that it would probably just blend you in with all of the competition that you're trying so hard to avoid. So
Sure.
I think that it makes sense to scale back, but to really drive home the videos to make them as good as they can possibly be.
Like, I genuinely believe we have the coolest job on earth. It's up to us, meaning as a team, to optimize our workflow, optimize the way we run our operation, where we can really enjoy that and feel that way on every single shoot. Sometimes it gets really hectic. You guys know the drill. Like, you're out there, you're grinding it out, making it happen. Late at night, you're editing. So my heavy focus is more on like, how do we optimize this? How do we make this more sustainable, where we are doing our best mentally, but we're loving what we do? And it's a tough formula. I mean, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But that's something like I'm heavily focused on this year, to make sure every experience feels amazing. Every tour we do like teaches us something new. Now, I have a question for you guys. Obviously, reducing the videos down, increasing the quality still takes quite a bit of time, but at the same time allows us to have more free time where we can focus on other stuff. There are a few businesses that I'm considering. Maybe we make some online courses on how to be a YouTuber, how to be a real estate agent, and showcase some of the best agents on earth, because we have access to them. I really enjoy fashion and clothing. I'm considering partnering up with some brands for them to produce exclusive clothing for us, because it needs to live up to that level. There's another thought that maybe we should get into home goods, our own furniture, that we maybe partner up with a brand. If you guys were in our spot, what would you guys do? What are some of the venues that you guys would like?
I think if you offer like an Airbnb, or like you own a yacht like this, and you say, this is my yacht, I'm renting it out, you're gonna get this luxury experience that we curate for you guys. Like, I think that would do so well.
Interesting.
That's a really good
bold
idea.
one.
I personally think I have no idea how product works, especially with like appliances, but I think something relating to really fancy homes, like nice appliances, could probably work out pretty well, because I'm assuming a lot of people watch your content to get inspiration for what they want to build in their own home. And I know a lot of the people that reach out to you wanting to sponsor your content and like somehow be affiliated with you are companies that create those types of appliances and stuff like that, and big sliding doors and windows and stuff like that. So I think if they're reaching out to you, they probably know what they're doing, and they probably know that that can convert pretty well. So if you could somehow partner with a company that's already doing luxury appliances and goods and stuff like that, and create your own line of it, probably would be pretty profitable.
It's going to be tough, because you're thinking about like a homeowner's not going to be going and saying, I want to replace my Sub-Zero refrigerator with a new,
Yeah, but I think
Enes
it's a lot of people that
refrigerator.
are like looking at what they want to build, or what they want to.
Like,
People
more
are
for future
so-
projection.
People
Yeah,
are
but
so set in, if they're buying Melee, and they want something that anybody from around the world, they know Sub-Zero, they know Melee, they know certain appliances. I think an experience that people could go to and
I can see the point
vacation,
there.
I think that would do the best. I think luggage, travel suitcases and luggage
That'd be pretty good.
would also do really well if you partnered with like Toomey or something, something like that.
Someone at that level.
Yeah, and you put your spin on it, but then it's only a one-time sale, and that's the thing. And good luggage is going to last like decades.
Decades.
So
I agree.
that's your problem there. But I think a good vacation experience could tell their friends about it. They might come back every year. Like a boat like this, imagine you make $100,000 a week, and you talk about it as like your carsandbids.com is your,
Your
luxury experience.
E plus charters, whatever.
Yeah, and you could, do a yacht like this, but then you could also, it'd be so easy to partner with a rental car company that does luxury cars.
Yeah.
Maybe experiences where people could go hand gliding, or maybe like a jet.
Get a
Like-
taste of like what we get to experience.
Exactly, and you could offer an affordable experience per person. 30 people want to, go in on that. I think that would be fantastic.
Basically. Well, I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
You have any other
like that.
questions?
I think I'm good. I'm just really happy to see you guys sitting in front of me in
Thank you.
Croatia right now. It's kind of a bit unreal, but no, I think that's all I got.
I got to thank you so much,
I know.
Enes, for making this happen. This has been such an incredible experience. Seriously. Mikey, come over here. Get over here.
Mikey. Come
Show
on,
your face to the
Mikey.
camera. I want you to wave to the camera.
Yeah.
Wave to the camera. Shout out to Mikey, too. If you guys have made it this far, please just comment. Shout out
Mikey basically created this entire shooting structure here, 3 cameras.
I even brought the cheese plate.
He
Yeah.
brought
Right.
the cheese plate. He's going above and beyond. If you guys could see the setup right here, that's the nicest camera I've probably ever seen in my entire life. And they're just so graciously letting us use all of their equipment
I know.
on this yacht that they've also sourced. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So
It
I couldn't
is.
thank you two enough.
It's my pleasure. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you. Really
Shout out
appreciate
Mikey
it.
in the comments.
Cool.
Thank you guys for making this happen.
Yeah. We'll link to all of your info in the description. Make
And
sure to
Goulette's.
subscribe. hit the
Goulette's
like
as
button,
well.
and
Goulette's is down below in the description
Yeah.
if you guys want to check out this yacht for yourselves.
Make sure to subscribe and give it a like.
Until next time.
Thanks, guys.